Yeah. Yeah, we've got MRIs. Josh has a knee that's going to require some surgery, and we'll wait and kind of see. But that could possibly maybe be a year thing for where it might ruin his year. So we'll wait until they do the procedure. And I don't know if that's going to be done this week or maybe the first of the next based on some swelling. Leon's got a knee, and he's going to be out for a while, but it's a non-surgical deal what he's got. So just with the strain or whatnot, and we'll just kind of see, is that going to be a 2, 4, 5, 6 weeks? Some guys heal quick. Our medical guys say pass, he's done kind of quick, but each injury's different, I'm sure. So I don't know if passed. I guess he's had something like that before. So one of the comments, he's always came back from a couple glitches earlier or quickly, but will that pertain to him? I don't know. So they're both out for this week. Concern for Josh, both those guys being seniors, just missing last games. And of course, if it happens to be a long term, it'd be a senior, which is kind of just disappointing for him. And we'll see how it goes with Leon. They both, I think, they played a little bit the other night. Ted got, I think, one snap in the big guy sets, and they just had missed some practice, which is kind of getting up to speed, and they missed a fair amount. And so it's just, time on task and seeing them and timing and confidence and knowledge. And they both had minor pulls, but they ended up missing, 8, 10, 12 days. And when you're doing 2 a days, it ends up being, 12, 13, 14, 15 practices. So it's kind of getting them back. But they're practicing every day. They have no issues. They're just a little bit behind trying to catch up. Same deal. Kind of see, I'm assuming he'll be ready to go, and we'll see how it goes, And don't think we've got anybody else as far as glitches, bumps, bruises. Everybody was practicing yesterday. A couple guys were out, those 2 guys. And again, Darius was going yesterday, Ted, and DeWeese has been going. Darius Willis is still out, and he's not practicing. So he's the other guy that's kind of definitely out would be Darius. We haven't had a team meeting that anyone has been suspended. We haven't told staff anyone's being suspended, so your assumptions are pretty good to me. Anything else? I mean, somebody's got secrets around here, but I haven't announced to a team anyone's been suspended, but people have sources. But anyway, so anyway, I mean, we don't discuss injuries in extent. We don't discuss suspensions. It's family business. So we discuss what happens in the game, so we can talk about that last week and this week. But what goes on in our meetings and behind closed doors, that's kind of our gig. It's our family. It's our deal. His suspension, yeah. I don't get again. He's kind of got an injury where it's a little bit more significant. So as he served his suspension, yeah, but I think he's got an issue coming off that injury he had before. I don't know if his timing is going to be good. Where I think he's been a little injury prone. And kind of right now, no disrespect to him, but kind of wishing him well, wanting to do well, and he's kind of done well behind scenes. But and again, that one, wasn't a public suspension because of some public things that got out about what was going on last year. So just to kind of put that to rest, I want to. But he's got an injury that's kind of just nagging him. I don't know right now if he's going to be able to play, and we're kind of working through that with him and medically and talking with the guys. So again, he's missed. The bulk of practice, he's tried to go. Every time he's tried to go, it's been like a little hiccup along the way. And so as we move through the season, again, right now, he's kind of not, and it's not his fault, it's just where he is. He's not in anyone's thoughts of playing right now. We're trying to see medically, can he come off that injury and be a productive player, or maybe not? And we're probably a couple, 3 weeks from deciding, is he going to be able is his body going to be able to hold up coming off the injury he had last year with this tendon tear he had, I guess. So, sorry about that. I don't know. We had 2 3 and outs for the games. I don't know if there was a lot of bogging, no turnovers. The issue of the second drive, we have a nice first drive. We get great field position, with really good defensive play. We got the ball in the 42. A play got called backwards in communication by at the line of scrimmage where we went the wrong way into a blitz. We threw a quick adjustment pass on the second down, and third down we sprinted into the blitz, which was not a good call. Good call by me or by us as we did it. We moved right into 2 guys blitzing, and Ed's a righty going left, and we put him in a bad situation. We didn't execute that play. That was a 3 and out. The other 3 and out was the first drive of the second half. So, I mean, there were 4 drives in the second half. One's a 3 and out. We take it to the 7-yard line, go for it on 4th. Another drive that gets a couple first downs bogged down, and then we go to the 7 to kick a field goal at the end. So, I don't know. I mean, the offense needed to do better. The disappointing thing, we had the ball in the fringe area and got nothing. We were close to messing up the long field goal opportunity with an error and taking a sack there when we had to kick the 49-yarder. We went 2 times inside the 10-yard line and got 3 points. So, if the offense had some, inconsistency, it was just we weren't getting stops and creating anything in the kicking game. We created no turnovers. We just didn't get the ball back. It was a very slow game as far as possessions. I think we had 9 possessions for the game. And typically a lot of games you're going to get 12, 13, 14 possessions. Ball State worked the clock well, kept us off the field. They blocked us well. They executed third downs. So I mean, we could have put another quarterback in there, but I don't know if he would have made any more tackles, or got off the block up front. So, and that's not sliding our defense. We just didn't, we didn't get stops. And we can always execute better offensively, but I think we're 50% on third down, no turnovers. It was not a great offensive night. But, we did not look like a team that was playing sloppy football. The 2 offensive penalties were linemen that got sloppy, got their hands in face masks, so we didn't have a lot of offsides. We didn't have a lot of drop balls. We didn't have turnovers. We didn't have a bunch of penalties. We were reasonably clean. We were not physical, emotional, executing perfectly. Same thing defensively. Again, they look pretty good from one game, and Coach London now, who had coached at Virginia prior, went to Richmond 2 years, did a great job there. Last year 4-8, but now they're in year 2 of what they're doing. So watch them in the first game. William and Mary, even though it's a 1AA team, has been a decent upper level, top 8, top 10 semifinal of the playoffs in 1AA football. What do we call it now? FBS? I get those backwards. What's it? I get those 2 backwards. But with all those, yeah. No disrespect to that. They're a heck of a program. Coach Laycock's been there 30-some years. So, they kind of came out and took care of business. They ran the ball well for 250, a freshman running back with a lot of energy, looked good. Got a big offensive line, a couple really good tight ends that they use a lot, and trying to, again, motion, shift, trade, gain some leverage to block down, kick out, run around you, off-tackle power. As the run game goes, the protection gets easy because now they can kind of run and pass and play action pass to quarterback. Very, very solid in that first start, kind of playing within himself, didn't force the ball. I think it was 21 to 27 or something like that, so looked very solid. Defensively, reasonably active. One very good defensive end, does a great job, number 56 off the edge. Linebackers are solid, pretty clean in the back end with one really, really good corner. It gets a lot of notoriety. They'll pick their spots to blitz. When they'll blitz, they'll play some man, but for the most part, they play a traditional 4-3 quarters, and it's a defense where they're traditional. If they're pretty aggressive and sound when they're not blitzing. They'll attack you up front. They'll be aggressive with their corners and safeties, sitting on routes, supporting the run. So to me, they look pretty. They look very, very solid in the first game. It would be a great challenge. Same time, again, we missed some things, but I think we got some things in the first game that we go back in our world. There's probably a little bit of some things in our direction that we did. We emphasized taking care of the ball. We emphasized playing, but at the same time, I don't know if we emphasized the energy and passion and enthusiasm that we needed to have. So to be as lethargic or as flat or as stale or unemotional, especially from the defensive side, and especially from the O-line play, those are things we'll look to improve on, and we'll need that to match what Virginia's going to bring, because we cannot go out there and be stale this week and match up with these guys. We need to have our hair on fire, flying around both sides of the ball, still taking care of the ball and good in the kick game. But they'll be a great challenge. Look forward to seeing what we got. Yeah, but still, I think sometimes as coaches, we're responsible for that. So, as a coach, you've got to make sure things are in place. You're always going to be thinking, but one of my rules is you can't think, you have to know. Yeah, we're still new, but that other place was too. They had the same amount of practice, same number of plays. So, that's nothing an excuse. So, bottom line, that's my responsibility as coach, offense, defense. What are we doing in structure? What are we doing in preparation with our hours that we get, our time on task that we are ready to roll? And so we've looked, starting on the bus ride Saturday night back. Hey, what did we do that allowed us to practice a way to come out and play that way? And that being said, how do we fix it short term, starting Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, as we move through this week to play Saturday, as we move into game 3 and we move through the season? How do we keep building what we're doing? Again, now we're limited with meetings getting started. Of course, now yesterday being a holiday, wasn't class, we were able to get a little bit more time on task, and we're really able to take some time yesterday. You make a lot of improvement from week 1 to 2. Technically, most people say. Hopefully we will. Time will prove that or not. But that being said, we were able to take our time getting through tape. We didn't have to rush because we've only got 45 minutes and we got to get to class. We were able to get through all the special teams tapes, get through all the game, really take our time teaching, get a nice, good scouting report, an early start for Virginia, go out and have a normal Monday. Now, the one thing we've talked about, again, this is a game. We got to have some fun. Our kids have worked hard. They've been here. I thought preseason was really good, outstanding, really proud of what they did. Even though we didn't show it in the first game, I thought summer was outstanding, all those guys here. But as we've worked, I think we've gotten into where we've lost that loving feeling. We don't have the passion, the fun, and that's my responsibility and my fault. So without having a bunch of jokes or giggling or goofing around out there, we're trying to create some energy, some fun, some excitement in what's going on. And I think yesterday we had a little pep in our step. We talked about it. We showed them clips on tape of a guy making a good play and not a lot of energy on the field or on the sideline. Showed a guy on offense making a really good play. Don't see a lot of energy and support from my teammate. Didn't see it from the sideline. Didn't see it from the guys on the field. Saw some decent defensive plays coming up. Two right in front of our bench. Really nice tackles that you didn't see that emotion and fire. So we're talking about, again, we've got to create that ourselves. That's got to come from me as the head guy. We've talked about that with the staff on Sunday. We showed it to our players yesterday. We've got to start fostering that in practice, and seeing if that will manipulate itself into game situations. But again, we can't expect. I know our students and everybody will do a nice job here Saturday night helping us, but we got to help ourselves. I showed one clip of tape on a field goal where 9 guys were looking to see if the field goal was made. And I think that's a picture of our team. We got a lot of people looking and waiting for something to happen instead of playing and making it happen themselves. You got to make your own opportunity. You got to make your own energy. You got to make your own attitude. We can't wait for anybody to do it for us. And that's kind of how we addressed it, and we'll see as we go through the week. We won't change practice. We've been practicing great. We've been very combative in our practice with the drills. We can't go out and beat our team up. We're not going to run them to death because we lost the game. We do a lot of running. We're in shape. So we're going to practice our format the way we're formatting. We're just going to look at the things we're presenting to create more energy for our kids. Yeah, and will it happen this week? But again, that's one of the comments as we go through. We got to make sure that we keep bringing our young players along, whether they're playing or not playing. I mean, the guys that we're right now potentially redshirting, are they off to a good start in school, going to class and getting a feel for that? Are they doing a good job in the weight room, taking care of their bodies? But I do think as far as the playing, one of the comments would be, again, we're not making wholesale changes, but we need to continue to escalate Mike Replogle, Zach Shaw, David Kaminsky in the offensive line, Peyton Eckert in the offensive line, Bernard Taylor, who you'll see, I think, playing some this week. Keep bringing those. We need to get D'Angelo Roberts going. And those guys aren't the answer, but those are some really good young players, and the more they play, the better we're going to be. Game tight the other night. Some of those guys didn't play maybe as much as they could have played or should have played. And as we go through this week as coaches, we got to trust them and force their issue a little bit. We're not going to – there's not wholesale changes, but I do think you'll continue to see some young guys continue to play and help us out as we go through the year. Hopefully, we'll see how significant that play becomes, but you'll see them in the mix. Pretty solid. At the same time, he got us a couple times. He didn't get us with the huge error, but he did go the wrong way a couple times where he had to throw it away, or a couple times where he took off scrambling. He took off scrambling because he got bluffed by coverage. The 1 4th down call, he got bluffed by coverage and actually threw the ball to the wrong side of the field. They showed a blitz, and he thought he was blitzing. He threw the out, and he said he should have thrown the fade. He should have been throwing the other side of the field. He got bluffed, and that's the part he's young. But you're going to do that some. But for the most part, he was pretty good. I think if he as he plays, and as all those guys play, Dusty and Trey, and as they all come along, the more comfortable they'll get in our system, the quicker they'll process. He didn't force. There wasn't a lot of balls that he threw, and you say, "Wow, why did you throw it there?" You threw it into a crowd. So I thought he was pretty good with the ball. I think he's got to do a good job moving around. He's still a little loose as a quarterback. He's running with the ball around. Like to see him tuck it, but he gave us a decent chance, and he was solid. And for the first start, again, we had some issues. He could have played better, but he was not one. Oh, I mean, again, I think our guys' expectations, expecting to win, expecting to do well, enjoying what we do. I think our guys, Always had a lot of fire and a lot of energy. Crowd a little different. Everybody just sitting there watching you versus kind of being behind you. And I can't complain about that because, they're used to seeing those things. We've got to make those plays and create that energy ourselves. And so that's my deal is we can't, it's got to start with me and our staff. And it's been one of our deals since we've gotten here. And that's a concerning thing to me as I went through the last couple of weeks of practice, for me not to see that as we're practicing against each other. And we're kind of maybe looking too much at schemes and too much as X's and O's and not enough into our eyes and our body language and attitude. Our kids have worked hard. We got great kids, so I'm not down on them. I think our guys gave us some things that not by design that we had maybe moved to, not meaning to. I think it's pretty vivid from the first game. You get out there and you see those things. We'll try to make some quick adjustments. I don't think you're going to see wholesale changes as the answer, but I do think it's evident some things that we need to address as a coaching staff. We'll see if we can manifest that through the week. Hopefully that carries over into Saturday. But again, as we keep building our deal, again, we will be physically, we'll continue. I think defensively we'll see some things we can and can't do structure-wise, putting our players in better situations now that we're matching. You're going against yourself, now you're going against others. Okay, matchups. Can we hold up at this position? Is this the proper coverage? Is this the proper alignment? Are we too tight? Are we too loose? Are we too soft in coverage? Are we too tight in coverage? Same thing offensively. Can we block this or not? It's nice that you got a receiver that can get open. If you can't block it, it's not a good matchup. How do you help that matchup? Is a tight end helping block? Is a tailback helping block? Are you moving the pocket? It's how you put it all together. So now you got one game under your belt. As we go through games 2, 3, and 4, we'll continue to get more indicators of adjusting what we do. I think our coaches are smart enough and good enough people that we don't have a book and we have all the answers. Our deal is to see where we're at, make adjustments, and move forward. And again, our deal is to do as good as we can for this week to get after Virginia, get a home win. Expect to do that as we prepare through the week. And that being said, it's not wholesale changes. It's not pointing fingers at the players. It's us as coaches looking at what we've got, tweaking what we got, giving our kids a chance, and not coaching so much our kids are thinking. We got to get our kids lined up, simple, sound, flying around, keep taking care of the ball, keep kicking it well. But we got to make some plays both sides of the ball. A little bit, and at the same time, I think the way some of the things we're doing structure-wise and stuff, we're kind of trying to play heavy and thick into some guys where you're kind of two gapping and reading and you're not 10 off. So we've got to create that. So again, whether we do it in some of our thoughts technique-wise, or whether we do it in some thoughts and having more pressure, in blitz plus, again, my thought is, and I shared this with our defensive coaches, and I think I had an opportunity working with Coach Stoops. That was a very good defensive back coach. Don't be worried about, getting beat in the secondary. If you can't stop the run or get off blocks or pressure your quarterback, you're not going to have a good night. So, don't think from a back end. I know Doug's got a great background as a secondary guy and gets that, and that is Brandon Shelby. Don't think we got to protect the secondary so much that we don't come after it. And that doesn't mean it's all out blitzes. Let's make sure, again, in what we're doing in stopping the run with our linebacker and safety fits, our D lineman can rush, and if it's time to pick spots to blitz, we pick spots to blitz. But there was, I think, what I saw, I think we hit the quarterback only one time, and that was disappointing. So. A little bit, and I think, again, as we go, and not that we're not going to change our defense, but I think there's some things that we can do and need to do as far as just some of the leverage that we're lined up in, whether we're, getting safeties more involved or blitzes more involved to create some edges and to get some penetration and to help our guys get off some blocks. And so, because again, their coaching staff have been together quite a while. You kind of knew, hey, these are some things they're going to do. They had a couple minor wrinkles, but the minor wrinkles were to take advantage of their schemes. That was small stuff. That wasn't an issue there. Again, I think now that we've seen our guys live, not in practice against each other, because when you practice against each other, after a while, you get used to each other. You know your tendencies. Okay, now let's go against someone else. Can we get off the block? Is that guy good? Is that the right linebacker? Is that the right? Do we need to make substitutions? Or is by where we're putting that guy and what we're asking him to do, are we giving him a chance? If you're a good coach, you put yourself in the position of the kid. And what does he see? What is he thinking? And what can he do? And am I giving him a chance? If I'm not, what can I tweak? Not change my system, but what can I tweak in formations, run game, protections, route running, What can I tweak in defensive alignment, pressures, coverage that isn't wholesale new that we're thinking, but puts our kids in better positions as we move forward. So again, we're not going to be stubborn. Here's our playbook. This is what we do. Hey, if we can't do it now, hey, so be it. No, this is what we're doing. This is what the guys can do. How do we blend it together and keep helping each other out to have a chance to be successful Saturday? And that's how we'll move forward. That's good? Good? All right, man. Thanks.